There's a lot of anecdotal advice around on improving your marriage. But if you want something you can really use that will actually make a difference and reignite your marriage, check out the link in the description below.
The question, does a marriage get boring after some years? Answer by Sanket Mehta. No, it entirely depends on the situations and our marital condition. Not everyone is born with a silver spoon, so the moment you get married, you shoulder out responsibilities with an added person in your life. It could be anything from routine expenses, daily household chores, caring, health, etc. Mostly in almost all cases, people get bored from their mundane life resulted from those responsibilities. Because of tons of responsibilities, life seems boring and even a marriage life becomes monotonous. You have to carry out all the things simultaneously on your own with more maturity. Due to burgeoning chores and ultimate pressure, love, intimacy, warmth, care, closeness, understanding, etc. fade away. However, you can choose and cherish your life by having some fun activities all together with your spouse. Having weekend hangout with your spouse could refresh as well as rejuvenate your minds and body. You will have work but also refreshment if you plan it accordingly. So, at the end, it's your life and how you make it the most. Answer by Maria Perry Mohan. Gautam. Marriage is like a pair of jeans. You get out of it whatever you put into it. If you try to be a caring, loving, interesting partner to your spouse, that's an investment. You'll more than likely get a caring, loving, interesting spouse in return. If you don't invest time and love in your marriage, don't be surprised if it turns boring and tedious. And if you consider trading in one partner for a newer and more interesting one, I have news for you. The second marriage will become boring and tedious even quicker than the first one did. You can take an example from the English king, Henry VIII. He was married to a beautiful Spanish princess who was educated and interesting. His wife, Queen Catherine, ruled England capably instead of him when he was absent and even won a battle against the Scots. They had a daughter, the Princess Mary. But King Henry turned against Queen Catherine because in spite of her many pregnancies, none of her sons lived for very long. So then Henry fell in love with Lady Anne Boleyn, another beautiful, intelligent woman. Lady Anne was a fair bit younger than Catherine and Henry felt that if only he could marry Lady Anne, he would surely get a son within a short time. So he moved heaven and earth, broke with the church and did whatever it took to get Lady Anne as his queen and lawful wedded wife. He got his first marriage annulled. Queen Catherine passed away of a serious illness and there was no further obstruction to his second marriage. And what happened? Queen Anne gave birth to another daughter, the Princess Elizabeth. Her subsequent pregnancies ended with miscarriages. A pressure of having to give birth to a healthy male heir took its toll on the Queen's health. In the end, the King's supporters cooked up stories of Queen Anne's infidelity, all lies, and got her executed for treason. In my humble opinion, the King would have done far better to stick with his first marriage. Both his daughters became Queens of England after him. All that trouble to get a second marriage for such disappointing results. King Henry went on to marry 4 more times and died leaving his children orphaned. His Majesty definitely wasn't the wisest of kings. So think on this and let that be a lesson to you. Work at your marriage and it will work for you. Answer by Masana Mythos. It all depends on the strength of bond between couples, then how much time you spend for your lovable one in your lifetime, forgiving mentality and less expectations. But the changes will never change in our life, that all we know. Your life will give you answer at the end.